Hi guys, how have you been? It's been almost a year. It's been 10 months. And I wasn't sure if I'd do another video or not. I mean, like a silver linings or one about me, but here I am. I actually did one in June or July or something, but I scrapped it. I was like, nobody gives a shit anymore. But somebody did request an update, so here I am. And so I guess I'll just jump right in. On one hand, everything's almost exactly the same, but on the other hand, it's completely different. And can you relate? Like, if people looked at your life from the outside in, it'd look like the same. Like, I'm still in this house, I'm still married, I'm still, doing my shit. But the energy and the healing has occurred. There's been a lot that has happened here. I don't know what to start with. I have a few things. Well, just like three things. Well, perhaps four things. Because there's one thing I've been avoiding, and maybe I'll just start with that one. Get it out of the way. I have mixed feelings about sharing this one, but because I don't want to feed it any energy. So I've avoided it for a long time. But I guess I'll go ahead and just give a quick update because I just quit talking about it altogether. And that's the story of the love bomber. Do you remember? Do you remember him when he came on so strong and started throwing so much money at me? And, I was like feeling bought. I understood that it was all like, feel it like a lot of Mariana stuff, and I learned that we did have an experience in that life as well, and so we were kind of finishing up. I don't know if he's finished up with his work through me, but I've certainly finished my work through him. That was a long time ago, which is why I quit talking about it. But I guess just for the sake of completing the story, I don't know if it's done yet, but he got weirder and weirder, and he started just getting gross. I mean, I had like shut him down long ago, and he would create a new profile and I'd block him again. And it's like he wasn't even like covert about it. He wanted me to know, I'm still stalking you. He'd use his name or some variation of his name or whatever. And he'd comment, he'd like something, because I have an open page. All my stuff's open. I just don't feel the need to be private because he's really like the only problem I've ever had, and it just doesn't take that much to block somebody. Even they can come right back. Not only did he keep coming back and wasn't like wanted me to know about it, he went a little nutters, and he sent me and a bunch of my friends a very long email or not email, whatever, message, talking about, I don't know, like he got completely delusional, like the archangels were telling him shit about me, and like he didn't understand why I didn't come because the archangels told him that I was going to come pick him up. So he'd be waiting on a corner with his suitcase for me, and when I didn't show up again, he'd be disappointed, and all his friends are like laughing at him and stuff, going, she's not coming, I don't know what you're talking about. The angels didn't give you that message. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know why he had to go through that. That's all on him. But, I would be getting these weird letters, and my friends did too. This one in particular that was enough to make me feel like, okay, it's time to go make a police report. But I just knew that it would be futile, that all it would do was put on record that this guy's, being inappropriate with me, but I already had it through my emails and stuff, so I didn't want to deal with that shit. Besides, I kind of feel like I don't need to have that experience, that like seriously being stalked experience, and the things that he said in the letter that, prompted me to want to make a police report was shit about my daughter, about Layla, that sex stuff, and now it's like, so creepy. I kept that to myself. I didn't tell her, I didn't tell my husband, because, that definitely would have escalated things. I mean, what the fuck was that? And then not only that, he started to send me pictures, he started to send me dick pics, he started to send me dick videos of him masturbating, And I just like, I didn't ask for any of it. I mean, I kept blocking him and blocking him and blocking him, and he kept coming back, coming back. He'd come at me through my website. He'd do, on our Facebook. He'd find me on Instagram. He'd find me here. He'd find me there. He just started following me on TikTok. Remember all that TikTok thing when I said I was gonna make a TikTok? I'm over it. I don't need to do all that technology. Maybe I'll figure it out one day. But for now, I'm fine with the old person Facebook, and YouTube works for me. So anyway, that's what happened. I mean, that thing did get like, it didn't go away. I quit talking about it, but and by it I mean the whole like love bomber situation. So it's still kind of like out there, but I don't know. I'm just sharing just because it's part of the story. And I don't want to feed it any energy, and I don't give a shit if he sees this and hears me talking about it. I'll keep his name out of it. But if you know who he is, then you know who he is. Isn't that gross? He just went crazy and gross. Okay, I didn't really plan on talking about that, but there it is. So let's get on to something more pleasant. Now, my story gets all mixed up. Let's see, because they're very connected. It's like, one can't happen until the, you know how it is? It's like almost like your own stories are yin yang. Like one is dependent on the other in order for them to come to completion. For example, God, where do I even start with my story then? Okay, let's see here. Okay, let me just go ahead and start with my marriage then. Well, first of all, let me start with my family. My kids are all doing really well. Besides driving them around everywhere, they're very independent. My boy Josh, you remember, he fell in love and had this, this big romance. Well, that girl stomped all over his heart, fucked him up, and we had to go through some therapy and it was a mess. But Eric told me long ago that would happen, and it was to prepare him for his next romance, which I feel like the next one will be the one, but we'll see. And then Ryan's girlfriend broke up with him too, and he like cried for a day and a half, and he took it all in stride. This kid is so fucking chill. He's so chill. He's an amazing person. I love him. He's the one that's reading Eckhart Tolle. He read 2 of his books, and now we know what he's reading. He's on the first Eric book, which I love because, he's indirectly or directly connected to Eric too. Just, bear with me, because Eric shares a higher self with Avery, and Avery is going to be the daddy of Ryan when he comes back as my space baby, like Layla and Starfairy share a higher self. Ryan will too. So anyway, I know that Eric is looking out for Ryan, and it thrills me that Eric is reading, I'll call them Eric's books. I guess they're his. Are they Lisa's? Are they Jamie's? No, they're Eric's. So he's on the first one, the blue one. Is that My Life After Death? I can't remember. But anyway, I'm sure he'll read them both. So Ryan's girlfriend broke up with him, and everything was just fine. So my 2 boys are now single, but the girl, Layla, she's found a boyfriend, and he seems really sweet. She says, Mama, he's so nice. He's so nice. And he is very sweet. So all my kids are pretty good right now. Whew, got that done. And they're, they don't need me like they did, besides, like I said, driving them around. So I've been really bored with my life, and I'm not complaining about being bored, because I've had times of not being bored. I very much appreciate my boredom. My focus because I've been bored, my focus has been on my health. And maybe I'll talk about that later, because I want to, go ahead and get into the marriage part. And of course, they're all going to tangle together. So me and the hubs, my lovey. The guide said we'd have or Eric said we'd have one more big fight, and sure enough we did. And this is kind of a funny one. We always have one at his birthday. Every birthday vacation we've had for the past few years has been a big, huge fight at his birthday. And I started to see the patterns, because that's what I do. And I wondered if his higher self was like, okay, I'm going to give you a huge birthday gift. Because these big explosive fights always end up in a surrender on his part, in a big epiphany. And I'm not really learning anything through these fights. I'm just practicing on not letting them get under my skin. So, and that's what I'm learning. I'm learning how to calm down, but I'm not having any big epiphanies. It's just practice for me. And so on this last birthday, I was begging the guides, please, I don't want to have the big fight on the birthday trip. Please, please, please. So we had like a medium one before, and I was like, okay, cool, maybe that was it. And we had a great vacation and no fights. But as soon as we got home, they dropped the gift, and it was a whopper. And it was mostly, him finally realizing I'm really, really proud of him, because I can't call him a narcissist because he's so loving and kind and giving. But he does have narcissistic tendencies, and the whole thing about, he does still gaslight me, but he's starting to learn and recognize when he's doing it. And so we still have to have a little bit more fights, because he still needs to see. It's like, it's only when you're in those heated moments that you see what's going on. So we still have to do it a little bit longer, because it's in those moments that you rewire. You stop and say, I'm not going to do it like this anymore. I gotta do it differently. So he's really learning, like, stopping and hearing me. I mean, it's still kind of a fight, but there's meaning to it. There's learning at the end of it. So he's really learning how to see that he is the problem in our fights. Really, he is. And he always makes it seem like it's me, because he pushes my buttons and gaslights me until I become the bigger problem. But one day, this was it. This was like my moment, and this was so satisfying. And anybody that's in like a narcissist and empath relationship, this is something that has to be done. I'm such a kind person. I want everything to be fair. I want to give, well, this is why I love this silver lining stuff. I don't have to give the other person a voice. This is 100% me getting to give my side of the story without being interrupted. He's a chronic interrupter, and that interrupting is always some gaslighting bullshit that knocks down another domino. So, I mean, I'm trying to talk about this, but he's like he knocked down 7 more dominoes, so I have to go back. And by then he's like, God, you're still on this shit? He doesn't get how he's the one that makes, okay, anyway, stop. So one day, he's like saying something to me, because I'm always like trying to be fair, and I teach him to be fair. And so he tries to turn around and use my material on me. So when I keep going on, he stops and interrupts me and says, you're not being fair. This is not a conversation. You're just yelling at me. And I love this. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but I said, this is not a conversation. We can't have a conversation because you don't know how to have a conversation. You only know how to gaslight. You only know how to sabotage. So no, you don't get a turn to speak. You need to sit down, shut up, listen, and learn a goddamn lesson already. And he went, it was so satisfying, and I really ripped into him about how we can't have a conversation, and I'm done being fair, and I'm done having conversations. I'm the teacher, he's the student, so you need to fucking learn already, because I'm tired of this lesson. And he really sat there and absorbed that. So I use that one now. Shut the fuck up, sit down, shut up, and learn a goddamn lesson. And I'm not such an asshole all the time, but I have gotten kind of assholey. Being fair and kind doesn't always work. And Eric told me that one time. It was this whole big thing that only had to do with me this much, but I was an outside, a little mini participant, and I was like appalled by some of the things that some of the players were saying to each other. And Eric said, well, sometimes that kind of language is needed. So I feel like, and he also told me one time, well, sometimes, if you gotta yell, you gotta yell, because I would try to just not even yell, but yelling's appropriate. What's not appropriate is getting to a point where I lose my shit and hurt myself, So anyway, things have gotten really good with that, because even though he's not all the way there, and he may never get all the way there, there is accountability, and that's what matters to me. Everybody makes mistakes, but you got to take ownership in it. True ownership, not just I'm sorry this time and I'm just going to do it again and be sorry again next time, but a true act of learning from your mistakes. And he's doing that, because I've said this before and I'll say it again. We are both like overachievers when it comes to our challenges. And okay, so let me move on. So one of the things that he has manifested is another house. He's bought One, two, three. Now we have three houses, and the other one was in the neighborhood where our other house is, because it is his goal to leave each child with a house. So we're there now. He actually would like to have one more, because two of them are in the same neighborhood and they're relatively the same size and same value. So if we can get another home in that neighborhood, then things are kind of even. This is the big Papa Bear house, but whatever. We'll work it out. We'll figure it out. But that house is so cute. It's got this beautiful pool with party lights, and the pool's got a waterfall, and it's just adorable. It's so cute. And he spends, well, the first 6 months of last year, he worked overtime, so we didn't really have to see each other very much. Then the second 6 months of this year, he's been working at that house all the time. He just comes home complaining about how much work there is, but underneath it all, he absolutely loves it. This is his pet project. And so let me put that aside for a minute. One time we were having one of our arguments, and I brought up again because I'm just not sure how to deal with this upcoming boyfriend I have. I've said it to him, and he knows he's coming, but I was afraid, and I don't want to hurt him. How do you deal? How? I don't know how it's going to be. I'm not especially worried, but I feel like I gotta like prepare the relationship for the relationship. So one day we were talking. It was just talking. It wasn't an argument, I don't think. And as I was reminding him of this, I said to him that, I'm going to get to this place in this relationship with this guy that I have to decide between the two of you. And I already know that I'm going to choose you. And before I got a chance to say because, he interrupted me and he said, well, I choose you too. And the way he said that gave the impression of such enormous relief from him. He didn't even need the details of why I would choose him. But I gave those details to him anyway, and I'm going to tell you too, because it's part of the Tangly story. And one of the things is a no-brainer, and he agreed. He was feeling the same way, and that was, I feel like I have invested my whole life in this relationship. Not only, growing my kids, but growing him. I put so much work into growing him and creating this family, this dynamic in which I get to be understood, and whatever. I worked really hard to have peace in the relationship I'm in. And although I'm not there yet, I have put so much into the whole thing, the whole dynamic. And I love my family. I want to spend all the Christmases with my family. I want to raise my grandkids. Well, not raise them. Fuck that. I want to have my grandkids come and visit me with my husband. He's going to be a phenomenal granddad. I want all those. I want all the things that you want when you first say I do. Grow old together, all that. If you think about the growing old together parts, when you're just an old grandma and grandpa on your rockers on the porch, that's the kind of stuff that I want with him. I want that friendship, all that. But what's always been lacking, or for many, many years, is that intimacy part. So that's where my boyfriend's going to come in. And I've asked two mediums how long this guy's going to be in my life. And I got 4 months from one, 7 months from another. And that was very disappointing to me because I feel like I've worked my whole life. I know that's not true. I know my work has been for many things, mostly peace in my family. But because I've been so starving for love all this time, I feel like all of my hard work, I've waited my whole lifetime, my young years, trying to get love from my mom, and then the teenage years looking for love, in the arms of boys and through sex, and, all of it, looking for love my whole life. And then just to finally be ready for it, and it's, for a 10-minute relationship. That's very disappointing. But put that on pause for a sec, because that's okay too. Now, I want to go back to the twin stuff. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot something. Hang on. I got notes here so I don't forget. And I almost forgot that part. It's so significant. Okay, so when I went to Europe last year, one of the last things I did was wrap up my twin stuff with, I can say his name again because I'm not mad at him anymore, with Michael. So I thought, and I did wrap it up. I did understand that that was like one more like circle of the pattern when I learned through one of my friends that he was having a baby. Just a truth bomb dropped on me. And then so realizing that, okay, I'm not going to see him again. And then he didn't see, whatever it is, I had to do the whole thing again. And then I was talking to one of my friends. So, okay, so that was one of them. That was one of the, okay, whatever. Okay, sorry. So another thing I had, after I, all of this stuff, letting go of Michael, and then realizing that he's not going to be ready for me for years to come. He's got little ones. I don't think his baby is a year old yet. So he probably doesn't even ever think about me ever. And, he can't. You're just being a parent of young children is just so demanding. So that broke my heart. And I had to get over that I wouldn't be seeing him, communicating with him, connecting with him again for years. That still hurts me, to tell the truth. I know it's necessary, but I don't exactly know why, but that's sad to me because I really miss him. Anyway, so what that also told me, and I had to get over this, was that he was definitely not going to be my first lover. And I don't know if he's going to be my lover or not. I'm not even sure if I care about that or not. But back then I did, the beginning of the year, and so I had to mourn and let go of that. And the reason I knew he wasn't going to be my first lover is because I figured out that the one that comes and he's only around for a short time, something else I got to heal from was, remember when Michael found a girl and replaced me with her, and she got to have the experience that I was meant to have, and I was devastated. And this year, in my driving around in Simone Biles' neighborhood, doing all my, feeling and healing, that was the only regret that I could think of at that time, was not having Michael as my first lover. It broke my heart. And I cried and I cried and I cried about that. But wait, shit, I forgot part of it. But while driving through this neighborhood, it occurred to me that Michael and I are twins, and we're doing the same things as each other. And so that girl that replaced me all those years ago, which nobody ever really said, but Fairy Girl manipulates her words so that I can make assumptions. I learned that Michael was meant to have a 4 to 7 month romance too. And again, I don't know the specifics of that romance, and it doesn't really matter. And I know that the only people that will see this or not see this are either meant to or not meant to. So I feel like I have a little bit of freedom in the things I say. So I have to just apologize to Michael again if I'm puking out his biz, but his biz is my biz, and I got this story to tell. So, without saying I know for sure, I just got to assume that it was like a full-blown romance that he had with this girl. Thought she replaced me, but no, that was his version of my boyfriend that's just about to show up, I think. So that made me feel so much better. Because, I know, I was talking about my one regret. I didn't regret any of the things as a parent, all my mistakes as a wife, my mistake as a kid, as a friend, embarrassing things I may have said here in these videos, whatever, any of the things, the mean things. I'm a really nice person. There isn't very many mean things I've done, but all of the regrets I had in life, they were all gone. I forgave myself for everything except for fucking up when it came to not being ready for Michael all those years ago. So when I learned that that was never the case, I felt such relief and such peace, and saw the way me and Michael, our lives um, have a path and a purpose towards each other at some point. So even though I can regret not connecting with him sooner, I don't have to take it like a personal regret, like I fucked up. Everything is as it should be. And everything is always as it should be because, the Adjustment Bureau will just go around and switch things up. So speaking of that, remember all those years ago when I thought I couldn't get my shit together. It was just all, a trick and manipulation of words from the guides to make me believe that. Shit, I lost one of the things. But another thing that Fairy Girl had told me is that she made me believe again, like, oh, in 4 and 5 years from now, you and Michael will then connect. And she goes, I have something to tell you. She goes, should I tell you? This is what Heather was channeling. No, I better not tell you. And I'm like, you have to tell me now. So she set me up. So she made me believe that when I was there in that last trip, that there was a chance I would be with him, but there was never a chance. It was just for me to get my hopes up again. Okay, so, but that other time that she did that and it didn't happen and he found the other girl, and I would say, he found a replacement in that girl and I found a replacement in Fairy Boy. Okay? My other twin flame light Fairy Boy. Well, I completely, so I thought, I have given up on ever seeing him again, but I still have a desire to be his friend. And so I check in on him once in a while. There's not much to check in on but a profile picture on WhatsApp. I got nothing. And he's still got the same, or it's not a same picture. He changes it. But they're all from several years ago. So I don't know if there's anything new going on in his life or not. As far as I know, he moved to Australia a few years ago. But I don't know. So I was talking to one of my friends. Well, I'll just leave her anonymous. Sort of. I don't know. Maybe I'll mention it. Maybe I'll mess up. But anyway, she told me that she heard that Fairy Boy got married, has a baby, and now moved back to Europe. Not in UK anymore, but somewhere in Europe. And I was like, kind of like, I had to let that settle in. And at the end of it, I felt okay. It was a big shock, but it felt okay. And I kind of felt like, okay, this is another one of those truth bombs. How am I going to handle this? And I didn't even realize what was going on at first, but I immediately, or almost immediately, wanted to write to him, and I did. I didn't send it. I didn't have intentions of sending it yet, but I was like, I'll write it, I'll get it out, and then, I'll decide. And I never even went in and proofread. I never even went back and did, beefed up the rough draft, and I never even sent it. And anyway, that was kind of like, did I already say that it felt like another one of those routines, another truth bomb, like the baby, the girlfriend, the new girlfriend, with the new twin or the other twin. So I keep having this same pattern, and I feel like I passed the test with Fairy Boy. And but then I thought about it later because I have such a desire to be friends still. And years ago, well, like 10 years ago, because this has been going on 10 years almost. We're at the end of 2023, and I connected with Michael in 2014. So we're there. We're at, the 10-year mark just about. So long ago, I learned that Michael and I were going to do it, and then we would become the best of friends. So the doing it part, I don't know. But I still have a huge desire to be their friends. And I noticed my patterns in my own life, like my before is Carrie, because now I feel like Carrie Anna, because I'm Mariana and I'm Carrie. I have, integrated, so I'm not that same person. And, after I did my wake up and I did my twin number 1 and twin number 2, I always feel like that's not the same person as the one before. These were repeats. Like Michael didn't do what the other men did. He didn't abuse me in that way. He represented an abuse of the original perpetrators. And what's interesting is that a few of those perpetrators I was friends with on Facebook. It became important to me to be their friends. And since then, I've been turned off by them. I see a post or they like my picture, I'm like, ew. And I say they, but there's only really one in particular. There's a couple others that didn't have the significance in my life, but there's a couple, and I see how they meant. Now I'm looking, it's like not the person didn't mean so much to me, but the relationship did, the connection did. I guess. I'm not even sure, but anyway, I just don't even give a shit about. I mean, I get turned off by them, so the need for wanting to be friends with them is just done. But they were not, they were assholes, and I know Michael was an asshole too, but it was different. It was like he was an indirect asshole because he had to be. He had to represent those other men so that I can do my healing. So, I don't feel like at all stupid for always coming back and loving Michael. He's my twinnie. How could I not? And I learned too the same thing with Fairy Boy, is that I'm not, I was like, do I still harbor, feelings for him? Am I still carrying a torch for him because I have this desire to be his friend? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him, but wouldn't that be awesome if he's not out of my life and I do get to have that reconnect with him? Maybe I get to do it with him and then be good friends with him too. But again, doing it, I don't really need to. I just desire having the friendship. I enjoyed that connection with both of those men. And remember, a long time ago, two boyfriends at once. I don't know if that was, was that the Love Bomber and Fairy Boy? Was that? Was it two twin flames? Is it already done? Am I ever going to connect with Fairy Boy again? Again, it doesn't matter. And I gave that thought up, but I've brought that back into a possibility. I think that'd be really nice. I would really like to be his friend. If you have a twin flame, you'll get it. It's like, it's such an intense connection. I spend so much time missing him. And again, and this is Michael, I don't even know what I'd do with him if I had him. I'm not interested in, having a full-blown romance with him, or relationship with him, because I want him to have his family. I want me to have my family. I like the way things are. But there's such a draw to him, and I wish I at least knew that he felt like anything. Like does his heart get palpitated when he sees my name because of the twin thing? I don't mean like, is he like in love or lust with me or anything like that, but do I have any kind of effect on him? How significant am I to him? I wish I knew that. And I wish that, I feel like those motherfucking guides are going to make me wait 17 years before he and I connect, because Eric told me I was going to be a horny old lady. I don't want to be an old lady when I connect with him. That sucks. So that's another story. I'm not going to be old. I'm working on reversing and getting younger and fixing things. Since I've done all of my inner work, I'm doing like the outer work. I kind of feel like the outer work is also the inner work, because I mean like the insides of my body. But I'm going to call outer work health, okay? I did all the emotional work, now I get to do the physical work. And fuck, my health took a tank. Hang on, I gotta look at something. No, I gotta go back to something else. I'm not gonna do, wait, let me make sure. My turn didn't, okay, yeah. Oh my god, I'm getting it all done. I always am so surprised that after 30 minutes I get it all done, and then I end up going over an hour somehow. Okay, so I'm not gonna do my health yet because I gotta go backwards just a little bit. This one's so bizarre. When I went to Europe, I went and stayed with Jane, and who I knew from the Shiny Show events, and Tracy, who I just knew from the internet. We are each other's specials because we don't even really have mutual friends. I think she found Stardust. She doesn't even know me from Shiny. So I had, I've mentioned I had a great time with both women. So much so that I'm going to go back this month. But let me get back to Jane. When I left when I left Europe, I couldn't stop thinking about her. I was almost like obsessed with her. And I would get such warm, fuzzy feelings. And I'd like hug. Here, I got two babies right here. I don't know why I got two llamas. But I would hold a pillow or a stuffed animal, and I would be like, I have this cream that I put on my face and it would smell like her. I don't know why, but I had to buy her some to bring. I'm bringing it over there with me. It smells so good. And my therapist, my psychiatrist helped me figure this out because I was telling her how relaxed I was over there, and that everything was just so great, and how much, how Jane took care of me. Both my friends took care of me. I didn't have to think about anything. Dinner, what we were going to do that day. Jane even did my fucking laundry. She just took such good care of me. And even on the days I was alone, I only had to take care of me. I didn't have to do any mothering. There was no mama biz going on. But I was mothered. And I realized, she took care of me. Like, she paid for everything. Like, okay, I just got to come out and say it. I realized that she was like a mama. And I still cry about this. It's so weird because I'm like 2 weeks older than her or something like that, or 2 months, I don't know. But she took such good care of me that I realized when I got home, it took, like I said, my psychiatrist said, well, they were taking such good care of you. And then you come home, and even though things are good with your kids, you still got to figure out what's for dinner, because, I clench and my shoulders are. And anyway, she helped me figure out like how much I was being taken care of, and I started to wonder if like she was my mama in a past life or something. And every time I thought about her, and I thought about her all the fucking time, and I'd cry all the time, and I'd go, "Is Jane my mama? Is Jane my mama? And I miss my mama. I miss my mama. I want Jane." So stupid. It's so weird. And then so I asked Sheila if we know what was the connection. Why am I so drawn to Jane? And she said that Jane was my lesbian lover. Not my mama. I was looking for some validation for the mama part. So, okay. But I had a little like thought, and either she really was my lesbian lover in some other life, or she was my mama in her life. Is somebody here? What are you doing, baby? No, nobody's here. Selma. So I thought maybe, just maybe, wonder if Jane was like a lesbian, like, and lived in the brothel life in Utah, and because Eric told me that after all my healing work I did as Carrie Anna, after I helped her, that she went back and she found somebody and lived on some ranch and lived peacefully, out her days. Maybe it was Jane, I can't remember if Eric said some cowboy came and got me. Maybe it was a cowgirl. So I don't know. I told Jane, and she just went right over the mama part. She's like, "Ooh, I'll be your lesbian lover." She's being jokey about it, but still, she just feels like my mama. And it's so interesting to me that I spent a whole year wanting to get back to my mama. And so I'm going back. I cannot call her my mama, and I'm going to kind of be a little bit weird because it's going to be weird. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to freak her out. But remember, I used to say all the time how awesome it was that I get to fly around the world and put myself together through love and sex. Well, I guess maybe sex isn't going to be part of it all the time. Because I sure do have such love for Jane. My heart cracked wide open, and I know she's one of my people. Maybe not my mama, but she's one of my people. And that healed me a lot. It just, I don't know. I know I am my own mama here, but it was so special. So then I was scared to go back, because how many of my relationships have had to end, because they were toxic, and it scared me. But I think I told you that Jane provided an experience for me that resembled one of that I had with my mom. Like, she did a little pattern for me. But you know what? And she's not the only one. I've had like 5 mamas. Of all of them, Jane is the only one that apologized. And she just, she was like, I was just irrational. I had a trigger and, I went this way with it and I know you were going this way and I'm really sorry. So she gave me also that validation, that accountability, that opportunity to heal from a mother energy, providing an apology. And she apologized not once but twice. And I told her why, that was important and why that mattered. And I thanked her so much for that. So she has been like a mama figure to me in that sense. But again, I was really scared to go because I didn't want, it's not that I have an expectation of what it's going to be like because I don't know, but I want it to be good and wonder if it's shitty. I don't think it will be, but I was scared of that. I was like, wonder if we have a bad time and now, the universe is going to find some way for us to learn from each other and pull apart. But then I was like, I've done the hard relationships and it's time for me to find love, right? Right? I can learn through other ways. I don't need to have all my relationships fall apart on me. So I got brave and I'm like, I'm going to go anyway, no matter what. And I think we're going to have some fun. I hope so anyway, because one of the reasons I'm going there is because I'm going back to Prague for eye surgery again. I know I've told you this, but you can even see it now. My tear made it shiny. But look, wait, how do you make it ugly? There's like the swamp creature angle. Can you see? Yeah, you can see it now. Oh boy, can you look. My Neanderthal shelf. They're both bad, but look at this one's got that bump, and I just hate it. This is what I blur out on my, that's why I'm so beautiful, because I rub this shit out. My Neanderthal lines. I don't like that. And so I'm going back to Prague to have under eye, I can't say the word. Blessifor, I don't know, some word. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm turning young. Now let me go ahead and go to the outer work. You know how I always have to do this, my pendulum, like learning and shit, like, I have to like be like super skinny, otherwise nobody will love me. And then I'm over here, fuck you. I have to love myself any way I am because, I don't know, whatever. Body positivity. But I'm not happy there either. So I learned that I don't have to listen to the diet culture. I don't have to listen to the anti-diet culture. All I got to listen to is me. Okay? So the same thing, I started to do the same thing with accepting myself for the age I'm at. I don't want to. You always see me, well, this is the first, look, I even put like sparkles on. I don't wear makeup anymore. I haven't been in front of a camera in a long time. I just don't have any reason to glam up. Wait, here's my shoes today. Wait, I just want to show you my whole outfit. I want you to appreciate this. Look. Wait, see the pants? I got Hello Kitty inside out Christmas socks. So see, I'm just a complete slob. I don't do anything. I don't put my face on. Anyway, but I want to be beautiful because my life's going to, pick back up. And who doesn't want to be pretty? And I know I'm programmed to want to feel pretty. I know that's one of my lessons. So it's okay for me to, I don't feel like it's a vanity. I want to be pretty. I like aesthetics. Look, this pisses me off. Look, this line, it's not like that. I'm trying to get over it. But I like symmetry, I like visuals. I like things like that. And we are our own biggest, most personal projects. It is us that we create. We create us. We create ourselves. And I've done so much recreating of my belief systems. I want to recreate my image, sort of. Not recreate it, but just create it. I am going to be my biggest art project too. I like taking pictures. I just do. I don't know. Am I vain? Does everybody like to look at themselves on a good day? Maybe. I don't know. But I do. So rather than doing this whole pendulum thing again of feeling like the pressure to either be young or the pressure to accept myself with my gray hair and wrinkles, I'm going to go in the middle somewhere because I'm just going to make the me that I want. For example, I'm not interested in having gray hair. My gray started when I was 26 years old and I've been dying ever since. I'm cool with that. I look, my nails. Oh wait, let's just talk about my fingers a little bit, cuz look, they look like old lady hands kind of, but that's cuz I've had like a lifetime of steroid creams and stuff. But there's no cuts. There's no cuts. Anyway, well, hang on. So that has been a lot better. My hands are a lot better. I still have times in which I have like the flare-ups, the teeny tiny blisters, and then my fingers shred for a couple days and then they get better. But this is the first time I've been able to do the glue on nails probably since I was in Europe last year. I'll do the stickers. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It just, okay, so that's one of the things. I don't mind the fake fingernails. They're pretty. They're pretty to me. I don't mind a bunch of makeup because I like it. It's pretty to me. So I don't mind one bit fighting the aging process. I'm cool with it because I feel like I'm creating the me I want to be. I don't like this fucking line. I have other things too, like, my jowls, my neck, and maybe another day. Maybe Fairy Girl's using like again, I don't want to call it vanity. I'm going to call it my appreciation of beauty, self-beauty. She's using that to get me to go on these trips. I love like medical tourism. What else? I'm gonna be fixing my shit for the next several years. I still want to go to Turkey. Turkey's got some good medical tourism shit too. Just gonna put myself back together through sex, love, and surgery. But it's like a fraction of the cost. So I'm going to do that. So here is my next itinerary to go to Europe. It's interesting to me because I'm doing like another repeat. It's almost an exact replica of the last trip. And I always mean to go like 10 to 14 days. This is the third time in a row I've gone to Europe for 17 days in a row. What the fuck is that? So I'm starting off, I'm going to be a little braggy right now and share my story. I'm going to fly into Germany again because that's the closest airline that United flies into. So manifesting a first class seat. And I'm going to fly into Munich. And I found a little hotel outside of Munich. They have a free shuttle to get out there from the airport, and it's pretty plain, but it's got amazing reviews and beautiful views. And I want to go to Bavaria. I want to go to one of the Pinocchio towns. The main reason I chose this place is because their breakfast buffet got like raving reviews, and they have the big giant soft Bavarian pretzels. Bavarian pretzels, bread got me there. Bread. Anybody surprised? Nope. So I'm just there for 2 days. Then I get to take a train ride over to Prague. And I'm at Prague for only 3 days this time because this surgery is not as radical, and I could do it in one day. The other one I did one eye, then the other eye. So this time I have like a day of rest, then I do my surgery, then another day of rest, then I take off and I fly to London where Jane's going to pick me up, and I stay there for 3 days with my mama/lover. Just kidding. I wanted to do the trip of my friends first and do the surgery last, but it didn't work out that way. So Jane says, you know what, you come here and you can heal. And I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to heal. I want to go out and have some fun. So manifesting like minimal bruising and stuff. I'm going to be a monster. Whatever. So then I go to Jane's, and then I was there for 3 days, and I'm going to take the train to Tracy's again. So that part's identical. Here comes my wild card, though. I'm not going to stay with Sheila. Can you imagine? I'm going to stay with Sheila. And she's like, I'm going to try to do my best UK Sheila accent. I better not. She's like, you could come stay in our caravan. And I'm pretty sure that is the British word for RV or whatever. And I'm cool with that. That sounds nice. She says she's gonna make it all like cozy for me. She says you come in the house whenever you want, but then you'll have your own space. I love that. I get my own space. She says she's taking me out to the pub. We're gonna get hammered, and then, well, maybe not in this order. Probably not in this order. And then we're gonna ride the motorcycles. Woohoo! I'm excited. I love going fast. So I'm looking forward to meeting her family, her puppies, her man. And maybe I'll meet her, some of her kids. I don't know. But I'm going to go ride a motorcycle and get hammered with Sheila. I'm going to have her do some drunk channeling for me. See what she comes up with. So, I said my wild card. Sheila's a wild card. I don't know what to expect from that crazy girl. And I was like, should I? Because it's uncomfortable, you don't know people. I'm like, should I stay with a new person or not? Because I've never met Sheila in person, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm close enough online. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Always say yes. Always say yes. So I said I'm coming, and so I'll stay with her for a couple days, and I'm just a couple days because I feel nervous to stay with a new person. But after my couple days there, I was going to go home. But I've mentioned this before, but I like to go to fly first class, and I can't get first class out of England. So I bought a ticket back to Amsterdam because Amsterdam is now the only local country that flies directly to Houston. I don't mind having a second flight, but then I'm still at the standby list. So if I go to Washington or Newark or Cleveland or whatever, I might have to stay the night there just to get I don't want to do that. So I want the direct flight. So Amsterdam was the only one. So I got a flight to Amsterdam, and I was gonna fly home. I'm like, fuck that. The last few times I've come here, I haven't been able to get super stoned. So this time I'm staying in I decided that I'm going to stay 2 nights in Amsterdam and get super stoned. So I'm staying again outside the airport, just like I did with Munich, a little hotel outside the airport for 2 nights. And it's close enough to ride a train into town so I can get super stoned, but it looks like it's cute enough there. I can't remember the name of either of these 2 towns. So even though I'm staying 17 days both times, the difference is I'm 2 days less in Prague, and this time I'm staying 2 days in at Sheila's. So I'm not even trying to see Michael. I'm not even going to tell him I'm coming. I'm not even, me staying in Amsterdam, I know that the countries, his country, Belgium, and the Netherlands touch each other, and we could theoretically see each other, but I'm not going to look for him. I'm not going to seek him out. I think this is the trip. I remember a long time ago, oh my gosh, I better hurry up because I haven't even shared my miracle. The guides told me, when I was trying to go get Ferry Boy, they're like, just go to Australia without any intention of seeing him. And I'm like, he'd be the only reason I'm going. There's no reason to go unless I see him. So anyway, this is the time. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to Europe with no intention to see Michael. That feels significant. Okay, so I talked about now I got to do the health. Okay. So my health has taken a complete nosedive. And I know it's because that's what I meant to work on. She cranked up the pain dial. So my fibromyalgia is out of control, and I'm in so much pain so often, and I'm doing all kinds of things to try to remedy that. I'm not sure what my solution is yet. I know there will be a solution because there always is. I conquer every challenge, but I don't know what to do about this. But let me talk about, one of the things I am doing is I have made, I did the whole thing with making peace with food and all of that, deciding that I get to be the body size that I want, not what these 2 sides want me to be. And remember, my goal is Walmart pants. I want to fit back into my Walmart pants. So here's my miracle, okay? Here's my miracle. Is the guides told me long ago that at one point, I will know exactly what to eat. I won't crave the cheeseburgers and pizza and stuff like I once did, and I'll know exactly what to eat. And I couldn't imagine what that was. First I thought it was the intuitive eating. And I thought that the guides would drop into my awareness. You need to eat salmon today. Yum, yum. Or whatever. Well, that never happened. Intuitive eating didn't mean intuition. In fact, what it meant was listening to your body and listening to your hunger and fullness cues. Well, I never got those back. And learning through Layla's bugs eating disorder, what you're supposed to do is be very strict and regimented about meal times, so that slowly those hormones that are released, the fullness and hunger hormones that are released, will come back to you. Well, I did that for like a year and they never came back. So I really didn't understand how I was going to know exactly what to eat. Well, guess what happened? It wasn't some kind of like magical spiritual epiphany. It was science. Ding. I got on board that whole injectable medication thing. And it's only just started working for me. I started the injectables back in March. It's November. And I only started losing weight a couple months ago. I can't even tell when. And I really wanted to come on this video today and say that I had lost 17 pounds, because that's my number. But nope. I lost 18. And it's slow going. I don't care, because slow and steady wins the race. I'm doing it in a completely different way this time, one I've never attempted before, and I don't think I could do it this way without that medicine. I don't understand the medicine entirely, but I do know that it does stuff like helps with your blood sugar spikes and helps keep the sensation of fullness longer, whatever it does. It in its own way replaces those hunger and fullness cues or whatever it is I'm missing. So for the longest time, it really didn't do anything. But now, I still have to do the work. I still have to, watch what I'm eating. And now it's just really like calorie. It's just about to get more bang for my buck. I'm just basically calorie restricting. But this medicine is very much an appetite suppressant. So the restricting is kind of easy. For now, it's very expensive, so I'm having to deal. Oh, so another thing. Wait, remember it didn't work for a long time. So guess what else happened? I got referred to a weight management clinic. So I have a team of 4. I have a dietitian, I have a nurse practitioner, I have a doctor, which I haven't even seen, and then I have somebody else, I don't even know what she is. But I have 4 people working with me on this. I have a whole team to help teach and educate me, because at 50-something years old, I'm finally learning how to eat. I can lose weight real well. I'm really good at that. I've lost 50 pounds over and over again. I've probably lost 250 pounds in my lifetime. But it's keeping it off. I don't know how to do that, but this is it. And I'm going to be one of those people that is a lifer on this medicine. And what's interesting to me about that is that Michael has his own insulin issues. And wouldn't that be interesting if we were on the same medication when we connected? Not when, but just that we would be on the same medicine. Maybe we could shoot up together. Just kidding. Okay, so I'm also going to, oh my God, I got a chiropractor. I wanted to do chiropractic and acupuncture, and I got lucky enough that the guy does the same thing. He does 2 things. And so I've been doing that, and I'm also doing this thing called Hinge Health. They sent me this whole kit. I hook up these monitors to me, and I do these stretches and stuff, and right now we're just working on my neck and my back. So I'm doing so many things to try to help myself. I have my 6th acupuncture and chiropractic adjustment tomorrow. To be honest, I don't think the chiropractic is helping me that much. I love having my bones cracked because I can't do it myself. I don't have the strength or the mobility. Ugh, I'm so fucked up with that. It's like I could barely get up. I could barely walk. I know I've spoken about this before. In fact, I don't know how I'm going to do Europe. How the fuck? I'm just going to do it, I guess. I did Yosemite. That fucking kicked my ass. But I can do it. I'll do it. So my chiropractor, he was so cool. He was so fucking cool. He's like, there's this guy, and then he starts to give clues. I go, Bashar? And he goes, yeah, that's him. And he goes, and then they talked about things like walk-ins. I'm like, that's what I did, except I didn't walk out. And he goes, and then there's this. And I'm like, yeah, you mean so-and-so? And he's like, yes. So he's so cool. I love that. I told him the whole story. I told him about Beautiful Mistress. And I told him about Marianne. I told him about all this stuff. He was fascinated. I'll be sad if I quit seeing him. I'll have to keep going in for acupuncture, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so did I get all my health stuff done? I think so. If not, I got enough of it done. I think I got enough for an update for the year. And it's about an hour. Oh my God, right when I said that, it clicked an hour. Whoa, I know it'll be different for you guys because it's gonna, have my intro and stuff, but that was trippy. Let me see. I'm always like, do I hang up now? Hang up. Do I press stop? I don't know. Nothing from my mom. My husband went over and saw her one time just because when he was driving around that neighborhood, that's where she lives, looking for houses to buy. She was outside and she said that she was so lonely. And I'm like, oh, well, you know where we're at. What else? I swear I got other stuff. Oh my gosh. I have to go all the way back to my husband, okay? Oh my gosh, I would have been pissed if I didn't finish this story. So, fuck. So with my story, with my husband, when I reminded him, or I told him, remember I said, I choose you. And he goes, well, I choose you too. Before I even had a chance to say, because. Well, my because was number one, I already said, I've invested so much in it. Well, number two was the story about Michael, how he already had his, version of my upcoming 4 to 7 month romance. I'd like to talk to him about that too. I do know that, of course, because she messaged me and she had said to me that she always felt like she was just there to help Michael move forward. I hope this man feels like that too. I don't want to break his heart. I already know I'm not going to choose him. I think I'll still be in a position to have to feel that way. And who knows, maybe I'll be like the outlier that chooses him, but I don't think so. Anyway, so my husband is so chill. He doesn't care about me having a boyfriend at all. It's like he has this fantasy of being a bachelor. And being a bachelor to him is not the same thing as being a bachelor to all the other bachelors out there. Like, perhaps he wants to be, well, not like the ladies' man bachelor, but I have my space to myself bachelor. So this new house he is Minecrafting it just like he Minecrafted this one. And he is going to that website OfferUp and garage sales and all these. He's furnishing his home like for dirt cheap and he's loving every minute of it. I haven't seen it and I'm a little scared too because he and I just don't have the same, style. But this is his house. He's going to keep a room there. He wants to rent 2 rooms out to flight attendants or pilots or something so that they'll come in and out and he can still maintain a room there. He wants to be a bachelor. That's his version of a girlfriend or boyfriend, I get the boyfriend. He gets to be single. Isn't that funny? And he's so okay with it. We got to that place. We crossed that threshold. So I've dropped little messages about my boyfriend here and there. Like, you're not even going to notice I have a boyfriend because you're going to be too busy romancing your house. And he'll be like, I know, right? Isn't that trippy? So anyway, you really can create whatever you want. And I think about it, I watch Dr. Phil a lot because it comes up in my Facebook feed. How many marriages, relationships are destroyed because of infidelity? I mean, it's a deal breaker, and I get it. But isn't it interesting that, people are murdered over affairs, at least, on movies and shit. And for us, it's like, all right, have fun. I'll see you when you get home. Bye, babe. It just really is perspective. Things are perspective. You get to create your own reality. Kind of makes me think of like weed. Like, remember 30 years ago or whatever, like the cartel would kill millions of people. Or, millions of people would get killed, innocent bystanders in the drug wars. and now you just walk to the dispensary and buy it. It's just fucking perspective so many times. So if you feel like you're in a trapped place of sorts, just remember, it could be just conditioning and brainwashing. And speaking of that, I think of, God, I got so much to say. Like my dad, I remember, oh gosh, I was at my dad's house, and we were just talking, we're so different. He's so like this team, and I'm so this team. And he sees it as politics, and I know it is because the political parties are on teams. But I remember he was like, it makes me so mad when the drag queens are reading in the bookstores and libraries. I'm thinking, God, you gotta get this, you gotta surrender the control that this circumstance is having over you, because there's nothing you can do about it, and it's just progress. And I told him, I go, one day nobody's gonna give a shit about this. It's gonna be as inconsequential as the blacks and whites sharing a drinking fountain. Nobody gives a shit anymore. That's the way it ought to be. And what was I going to say about it? It's all perspective. It's all fucking perspective. And you can say that our kids are being indoctrinated. Well, you could also say they're being undoctrinated, because who's the one? Why were they ever taught that putting makeup on is a bad thing? I mean, look at Volti. He wore his frillies and shit. He was very manly in his frilly way. But anyway, just remember that it's perspective. And I hope, I know that my stories inspire and people can relate. But I guess the biggest things I want people to learn from this shit that I share, I mean, it's helpful for me. It's cathartic for me, definitely. But how many times have I used that term, surrender the control that external sources have over you? That's just, fuck them. Fuck their beliefs. Fuck their rules. Fuck their expectations. You do you. You do you. You'll see that when you finally surrender the controls, that you really, it's like amazing how free you are afterwards. You don't even know. I didn't even know I was brainwashed about the diet culture thing. And now to see it on the other side, and I see my boy Josh, he sees the same thing, how brainwashed he was, from the internet, his body dysmorphia, seeing that you must be, according to this man on this website, you must be these exact dimensions to be a perfect man. Well, maybe 1% fits those relative, who decided that anyway? Humans are so many shapes and sizes. You just cannot allow that to control your thought process. And you don't even know you're brainwashed until you're on brainwashed. All right, guys, I think that's it. I'm going to wrap this up because, oh my gosh, I got 2 kids that'll be home any minute, and I got to go pick up the 3rd one. All right, do you guys know, are your kids not as into driving as, we were? It's well, I was a late bloomer when it came to my license, but it seems that, back in the day, we were getting our driver's permit at 15 and a half. Kids just don't care like they once did. Is that true? I guess because all their friends are on the internet. I don't know. All right, you guys. Wish me luck on my next do-over trip to Europe. I'm sure I will have some epic growth, and maybe I will come back before the year's up and give another update of how that went. I enjoy these videos. I just got bored with my story. This was 10 months smashed into one. It was nice to get back up here and talk to you guys. And, I've been talking to Heather. We both look forward to Stardust picking back up. And I really look forward to whatever my next video job is. It's supposed to be, I'm going to interview famous mediums. I don't know what that means. So, okay, you guys. Happy, winter holidays. Thanks for watching. Bye.